welcome to Fear Coded, a podcast where we talk about media from the horror genre and take a queer reading of a single book, video game, film, podcast, or TV show to explore just how queer horror can be. Listeners, this week we continue our exploration of Dractober with... Wait a second, this isn't October. We're in Valloween, a month-long celebration of romance in horror. And like this movie, our souls long for a love lost to us as we discuss Bram Stoker's Dracula. I'm Tyler.
I'm David.
And I'm Marilee.
And we want to thank all the bats in our belfry for being part of our absolutely amazing community by supporting our Fear-Coded Patreon. Thank you to Will, Knight of Cups, Blake, Puckish Rogue, Tyler, Ryan, John, Doug, Jacob, Alyssa, and Maureen. Now, before we accept a crucifix from a stranger, but not for our mother's sake, I want to check in with my co-host to see how things are going for them in a landscape of horrors that our real world has to offer. What's making y'all scared, or what's making you feel prepared?
I'm going first this week, and I'm here to tell you, am I scared? Am I prepared? Or am I buyer bewared? Because I have recently purchased a new video game for myself, and... does it make me feel good? Does it make me feel bad? I simply don't know.
Okay.
So it turned out that I had some money sitting around on the PlayStation Store.
Mm-hmm.
Could not, for the life of me, tell you why. It's possible I was part of some sort of class action lawsuit, received a gift card, and the only thing I could think to do with the random amount of money on a US gift card was to spend it on the PlayStation Store and just put it in my wallet. But who knows when that was. And so for a long time, I had been considering picking up the game The Sinking City, and it was on sale, and so I picked it up. It is a Lovecraftian story. There is, madness and fish people and ape men, and I was like, all right, I like an ape man. Let's give this a shot. And I just don't know. I feel like I have to keep playing it because I spent money on it, but wow, it is not scratching the itch.
It is certainly a game, because David, I have tried to play The Sinking City as well.
Okay.
And I quit after maybe 20-ish minutes.
Okay, I've made it a little further than you. So I feel a way about that. I was listening to podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
I was very specifically listening to the backlog of walloping web snappers that I've got. So I am doing the least Spider-Man thing ever, which is ride around in an outboard motor in a flooded city instead of like jumping from building to building with a web. But it, for some reason, was nice.
Mm-hmm. David, please consider... I completely understand feeling some kind of way about getting your money's worth, but this was money that was already in the PlayStation Store, so it wasn't real money anyway.
Well, and these are the people who develop all the Sherlock Holmes games, so it came with a free Sherlock Holmes game. I could just play that.
Yeah, play that instead. There's your money's worth, my friend.
One of those Sherlock Holmes games is basically The Sinking City. I watched someone play it on YouTube.
Well, I'm not going to lie. This is sort of a Sherlock Holmes games, except every once in a while you have to participate in very clunky combat against Eldritch horrors. And I don't hate an Eldritch horror, but like, I don't know. I mostly just run up to it and hit it with my shovel.
So it's like a Steady and Emerald's version of a Sherlock Holmes game.
I suppose. I don't want to say it's bad. It's fine. It's aggressively fine. Mm-hmm. I love that there's a city that is sinking. That's what the ticket was for. And so I appreciate that I got there and they're like, oh, our city's underwater. And I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. That's what I came for. And I don't even mind like tentacle beasts and things like that. I'm kind of game for that. I don't know. I just don't know. If I finish it, I'll platinum it just to do a job.
You're such a strange creature, and I appreciate you so much, David.
What about you, Marilee? Are you feeling scared or prepared this week?
I'm going to be a little greedy, and I'm going to say that I'm both. I'm a little scared and a little prepared today.
Is it the same cause?
Yes.
Okay.
See, because here's the thing. We are not recording at our usual time. We're recording on a Thursday night, which means that after this episode is over, I'm going to go leave and watch The Pit, because there's a new Pit episode that will be available for me at that time. And so I'm very excited and prepared for new pit. But I'm also really scared because I know I'm going to be exhausted. I've had a very long day. And we're going to be by the time I'm done with my new pit and like experiencing all of those emotions, I'm going to be so exhausted.
Yeah.
So I'm very scared for that. But gosh, there's no way I'm not going to watch the pit tonight. You know what I mean?
No, the pit's back. The pit is back, and oink oink, we are pit pigs.
Well,
I don't like that. Can we workshop a little bit?
That's what the community has chosen. That wasn't my decision.
What community?
how many people are in this community? Like 4 people, and I know 3 of them.
Well, Marilee, I'm excited that you do at least have some good TV in your future. The season 2 so far been pretty good.
Oh yeah, I'm very much enjoying it. I know that things are gonna get even crazier soon, and I can't wait for the escalation in tension that we're gonna receive. I'm not enjoying the red flags that have been placed all over the field of play for things that are gonna happen later. But I can't wait to get to those too. I think I'm enjoying it so far.
Yeah.
What about you guys? You are both also pit watchers, right? We're all in the pit together.
Yeah, I'm a pit pig as well, so I really love the show.
We're not accepting that as a nickname, Tyler. We're like fighting.
I think
Fight
we are.
with me.
Yeah, no, I've had fun with it. The thing is, I think that if I had a critique of the pit, it is that some pit fans are like, I now have a medical degree. And
Simply not true.
This is still a fictional recreation. This is still a story. These are still fictional narratives. We're doing a lot of great things. I love HBO. I don't know why, but for some reason, if you just let it keep going, it'll just show you some behind the scenes stuff after the credits. There's some cool behind the scenes on how they like used puppetry and like shoved an actor's face through like the floor to get them to be on gurneys and things. I thought that was cool. But like medicine,
we love a practical effect.
Yeah, but this is not medicine. This is stagecraft, which is wonderful. A different joy.
Yeah, I love this show. I think it's great. I'm pretty much where Marilee is, where it's like dread but excitement at the same time. It's just so well crafted. It's nice to have just like a really well crafted drama series that's also longer than 6 episodes for a season.
Yeah.
God, that's so good. That's so good. I love it when my television is weekly and also an hour long. It's really so choice.
Absolutely.
Well, Tyler, are you scared or prepared? How are we feeling today?
I am feeling a little bit of both. I'm feeling more prepared than scared. I am scared because I've had just like this constant headache that will go away and then comes back and goes away and then comes back for like this entire past week. So that's been very frustrating. I think it's the weather. I think it's the weather. So that's been unfortunate, but I am prepared because I have been playing the Dead Space remake, and that has been pretty fun.
Wow. I think we talked about this forever ago, possibly on our Halloween Q&A episode, round 1. That I put this in and was like, no. So you're having a yes with it. You're not no, you're yes.
Yeah, some may say I'm very yes, in fact. Okay. It's really good. It's very well made. It's very spooky. The necromorphs just kind of pop out at you, and sometimes they're behind you. And that's scary. I am playing on easy mode, which I'm starting to realize is maybe a little too easy. So I'm considering cranking up the difficulty, but I am also a little scared to do that. So we'll see. Okay. We'll see how that goes.
Now, Tyler, I've never fucked around with Dead Space even a little bit. Would you mind explaining? I know that it's scary and in outer space, but this is all of the information that I have.
I mean, that's pretty much like the elevator pitch about it, is that it's scary and it's in space. You're playing an engineer named Isaac, his girlfriend, who's a doctor living on the spaceship. They had like a falling out or a fight or whatever, and then he stopped hearing from her at the same time that her ship went quiet. So you and your team are like going to go find out what's going on. You discover that everyone has been turned into horrible like monsters, like their corpses have been possessed by some sort of animated spirit, and their bones turn into sharp knives. And as opposed to a traditional video game where you just have to shoot the monster and you can either do like a headshot or a chest shot. You actually have to cut off the limbs of these monsters to damage them. Otherwise, they will just keep coming at you. So instead of like using a pulse rifle, which you get a little bit later, you start off with basically just like engineering and mining equipment. So you have like the space equivalent of a staple gun that you are shooting at these monsters to chop off their limbs. And that's pretty fun.
Yeah, that's theming very fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a no. It was a no for this household, but it's there. It's sitting there waiting for me. Should I ever desire to play it again?
I mean, we're probably going to talk about it at some point.
It's pretty gross. Pretty gross.
Then I do remember liking the aesthetic of all of it. And it did seem like it had a fun, what's going on? Ooh, in space.
Yeah, I've heard there's like a twist at some point or something. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of twists in the series, and then in the remake, I think there's still like the initial twist and maybe something new has been thrown in, but I don't know that much. I've known the story of the game since basically the original came out, because then I went to go look it up on Wikipedia or watched it on YouTube or something. So it's hard for me to tell what's a twist and what isn't anymore. So it's hard to say, but it's been fun. It's a good time. I think they did a very loyal, faithful job to the remake it from what the original was. So that's been good. Also, I'm engaged now, so that is something that I'm very happy about.
That's right. That happened since the last time we recorded, but long ago for listeners. Long ago.
Long ago. It's ancient history. But yes, my partner Marshall proposed to me this past weekend while we were snowed in. It was very sweet. I'm very, very happy. We were building a Lord of the Rings Lego set. Gandalf, doing the "You Shall Not Pass" to the Balrog, which can fit in my bookcase. It's actually meant to go there. And Marshall and I were building it together, and they dropped a piece, and I was so focused on building the thing that I did not realize what they were doing when I saw out of the corner of my eye that they were on bended knee, holding the ring out.
I love that.
I love that.
So I was shocked for a good 45 seconds.
Before this engagement, were you a ring person?
I've been wanting to get a chunky ring, like a signet ring for a while, maybe two. Just because I think I kind of feel like I could pull off that aesthetic of chunky rings.
You definitely could.
And a necklace and stuff. So I would so I'm very happy with the ring that I have. And then I look forward to getting some chunky rings as well.
Sure. But this is your first major ring.
Yes.
Then.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing to have on your hand.
Well, it's even a little weirder because unfortunately it's just slightly too big. So we're gonna do an exchange. They sent us a ring sizer. So once that arrives, we're gonna figure it out, the exact amount, and then we'll get it resized. And then I'm looking forward to wearing it all the time. But I agree, David. When I was first wearing it, even with it being a little bit bigger than would fit, I was still just whoa, this is weird.
Yeah. And then, just to predict your future, there will be a day, and I can't tell you when this day will be, but it will come. And you will forget to put on your wedding or engagement ring, whatever it is at that point in time, and you will spend the entire day doing this and being where the fuck is it? Because it's not on your finger, but it will feel missing.
Oh,
it's a strange sensation.
Yeah, I believe it. Well, I'm excited to experience that weirdness.
It's weird. It's phantom limb shit.
Yeah, like a necromorph that had been it had its limb chopped off.
Do necromorphs feel phantom limb pain? A question we will answer when we cover Dead Space.
Look forward to it, listeners. We're definitely going to do that.
That's going to be one of the themes. I'm calling it right now.
Calling it a shot.
Well, we're not quite ready to talk about Dead Space, but we will talk about some dead air, because today we are talking about the 1992 Bram Stoker's Dracula, which was directed by Francis Ford Coppola and had a screenplay by James V. Hart. It is, obviously, based on the novel written by Bram Stoker, Dracula.
This movie covers all the same Dracula plot beats that we're all familiar with, namely lawyer heading to Castle Dracula, the Demeter, Lucy's death, killing the vampires. But this movie popularized a new twist in the Dracula framework. Mina is now the reincarnation of Dracula's lost love.
Coppola was introduced to the project by Winona Ryder. She gave him a copy of the screenplay on the set of Godfather 3, which really isn't relevant to our conversation. I just thought it was neat. It's also notable because it's the only Dracula adaptation to ever win an Oscar. What's everyone's experience with Bram Stoker's Dracula, the movie by Francis Ford Coppola?
I watched this on, according to Letterboxd, November 1st, the day we were done with Dracula. And I gave it 3 stars, and I don't know what I was thinking, because it's not how I feel today.
Oh, no.
You had been lulled into a sense of complacency because of Dractober.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is, and I really did try to go into this watching being like, oh, yes, I know, I have read Bram Stoker's Dracula, but like, this is a film, this is totally different, and I'll just divorce my mind of it. And I tried to have more clarity doing that, because maybe the reason I thought that I didn't like it so much was because it strayed a little from the novel.
A little. What a few. You know, that's what a kind and gentle thought that you had there. Didn't work out, I see.
Yeah. What about you both? Did you have prior experience with Bram Stoker's Dracula, the 1992 film?
I mean, we're gonna have so much fun with that.
Oh God, Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula. I believe I watched this film in either middle or high school the first time. It was definitely on TV though.
Wow.
I did not see the uncensored version.
Tyler, when you said you saw it in school, I literally thought they brought in a television on a cart and were like, we're gonna watch Bram Stoker's Dracula. This feels inappropriate for children.
I mean, high school, I could have seen my AP English teacher doing it because she's a baddie.
Yeah.
Stacey Elmere, you're not listening to this podcast, but I think you would get a kick out of it. You're awesome. But no, like I think I watched it, probably it was like on Bravo, back before Bravo was all reality TV stuff. And then I almost watched it again in grad school. We had a day that we were going to watch it, and then we got distracted because we were asking too many questions. So we didn't watch any. At the time, I was disappointed. What a fool I was. I have only really seen it, I think, once since then, until I watched it again for this episode of the podcast.
Okay.
And that will probably be the last time ever.
Oh boy. Yeah. So I watched this movie years ago. I think I was in middle school. I did not watch the censored version. So I remember distinctly being like, I think this movie's a little too grown up for me. I definitely get the sense that I like this movie a little bit more than you guys. It's not good, but
Marilee, was this your first Dracula thing?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But probably pretty close.
Okay. All right. Well, that
again, I am raised in the media landscape, so I definitely knew who Dracula was, even if I didn't see anything with. Oh no, I know exactly what my first Dracula was. It was Abbott and Costello Meet the Wolfman.
Okay.
That was your first Dracula?
Well,
yeah, it was.
That's awesome.
I haven't seen that yet, but I have seen this, and that feels like a better entry point. How did you both watch this? I meant to ask in our group chat, but this was one of the many films that when Mike was underemployed, he made a legal backup for Netflix when they were still doing discs. So I think he was just going from like A to Z of all of the things available. And when he got to B, that's why we have so many movies in the A's, B's, C's, and D's.
That's so cute. No, it's on Netflix right now.
Oh
yeah.
Okay. I didn't even look. I was like, I think we have this on Plex. I'll just boot up our Plex copy, which was a fine rip from a DVD.
I do believe, though, it has left Netflix by the time this podcast episode comes out. So you're welcome, audience. We took the bullet for you.
Yeah. If you would like instructions to access my Plex server, please write into the podcast at fearcodedpod@gmail.com.
Well, it's time to move on to our themes. So I don't have a really clever transition. I don't really have a clever transition for this one. So we're just going to jump straight into our very first theme for Bram Stoker's Dracula, which is on death of the author, Bram Stoker. Let's say you're working on an adaptation of a work that's been around for hundreds of years and has been adapted a few times already, but you think it's never been done justice. What's the best way to communicate to everyone that you've got the one true adaptation? How about putting the author's name right front in the center, regardless of how difficult a time podcasters will have when trying to talk about the media in 30 years?
So listen, okay, I am mad about this because this is like impossible to reference because it is exactly what you just said, Tyler. It is exactly the words you wrote, Marilee. This feels like, oh, the Lugosi film from 31 wasn't a great adaptation of this material. It was a stage play that was kind of complicated, adapting into a film. I'm going to go back to the source material and I'm going to do it. And then, like, there were blue flames and that was fucking it. And I was like, no, there's so much more in this book. And then you added other things that aren't from the book. What's happening?
Yeah, this, God, this movie. So, like, I could appreciate the small things that were included in this movie. So we have, like, a lot of messages and letters being read aloud. That's great. Mina is the only one to use a typewriter. That's also great. The kukri knife is specifically called out, and that's what's used to stab Dracula, like in the novel. That's great. But then it gets totally mired in, like David said, all of this new stuff that is just really not worth it. Like, I could appreciate the desire to, like, let's spice some things up. Let's modernize this story a little bit for a modern audience. But I just think it's totally ham-fisted and totally done super poorly. Like, it's just very inelegant. And honestly, like, the only really good thing that about this movie that I find redeemable is aesthetically, I think there's some really fantastic things. Marilee, what do you think about it?
Well, don't worry. We'll circle back around to the aesthetics in just a second. But here's the thing: this is a bad adaptation. It's a horrendously bad adaptation. We could all agree it's a bad adaptation. I'm gonna be honest. I kind of respect the audacity of Francis Ford Coppola being like, "Yeah, I'm Francis Ford Coppola. I did The Godfather. I can do whatever the fuck I want. I'm gonna call it Bram Stoker's Dracula and do whatever the fuck I want with it, and y'all can just watch the movie and enjoy it or not." You gotta respect it. I don't like it, but I do. I think it's funny.
I actually I understand that though, Marilee, because I also I respect James Cameron for going full balls to the walls with his passion project of Avatar, even though I don't really care for these movies. I'm just like, you know what, James Cameron, you fucking made Aliens. I'll let you do, and Terminator 2 and Terminator 1 and Titanic. You can make whatever the fuck you want. You've made your mark on the cinematic landscape. Coppola is very similar, and Coppola had this whole big thing with Megalopolis in the last couple of years that was just this huge money pit, but it was his passion project. So if he's just like, I want to be audacious enough to say this is the Dracula adaptation, more power to you, my dude. However,
yeah, it's a big however.
Yeah.
See, and I feel like we would be doing the exact same thing, and it's a more faithful adaptation if Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet was called William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. I feel like I would have these exact same complaints, because I would be like, they didn't have fucking guns. That's like a modern retelling. That's cute. It's fun. But at least they used the fucking dialogue from the play. There are some ouch, ouch, ouch moments in this adaptation, and yet some iconic fucking shit comes out of this, so
truly
I can't be that mad.
Or can you?
We'll find out.
Well, that's the thing about this movie is that it really was very beloved by Hollywood and directors, creators, actors, everyone. We wouldn't have gotten the original Interview with the Vampire adaptation without Bram Stoker's Dracula. So we wouldn't have had Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise being gay together. We wouldn't have a lot of this idea of the vampires being this sexy baddie if we didn't have Bram Stoker's Dracula. So in that regard, I'm just like, you know what? I'm glad you did your thing, but Jesus Christ, what a horrible way to do it. I just don't see what made everyone love it besides the idea of vampires don't have to be schlocky B-movie villains. They could be sexy too.
Sure.
Which leads us into our next theme, Love Never Dies. This movie, of course, isn't a particularly faithful adaptation of the novel Dracula by Bram Stoker. It popularized or outright invents several story elements that persist in other adaptations to this day, namely the quasi-historical basis for Dracula being Vlad the Impaler, and, more importantly to our conversation, the reincarnation romance between Dracula and Mina, to the detriment of both Mina and Jonathan's characters.
Okay, so here's what I guess I would say about all this, is if this is the film, then this should be it. Like, don't give me the other cool Dracula things. But because I have all the other cool Dracula things, I'm like, oh, a Dracula story. I recognize this and I want to be part of it. And again, I tried to free myself of that gravitic eddy that was keeping me at bay. But like, it's so hard. And anytime some of the new stuff would pop up, I would just be like, yeah, okay.
Honestly, like the historiosity idea of like Vlad the Impaler and all of that stuff, it bothers me almost as much as the romance. And boy, this romance really bothers me because I'm pretty, is this where like the idea of like Virgin Mina whore Lucy comes from? Because I fucking hate that shit.
Yeah, because we talked about this during Dractober, right? Like, Lucy is meant to be the angel in the house, so really she's meant to be kind of more of, like, this perfect woman, and that's why all of the men love her, is that she's just so good and pure. And in this, it's really flipped on its head, because, you know, Lucy is very flirtatious, she's very lascivious, she's very sexual.
And like those aren't bad things to have in a character. It's just not Lucy Dracula.
Yeah, it's not Lucy Westenra from the novel Dracula by Bram Stoker. And then Mina too gets her character diluted because then she also becomes like a sexual object and a sexual person, which again, like, nothing wrong with being a sexual person, but the dominoes that are set up depict Mina as being a more dimensional person than just like a sexy, lustful, please do me Dracula type of character, which I think is closer to what we get.
Right.
Yeah. Have you guys heard of the sexy lamp test?
I've heard of it. I don't know what it's about though.
So it's a very, very dumb, exactly what it is on the tin, media critique, where if you take a female character and you replace her with a sexy lamp, how much of the, you know, like the lamp with like the woman's leg that you know exactly, how much of the movie changes. And if the answer is not very much, because the female character doesn't really do anything besides be an object for other people to be interested in, the movie fails the sexy lamp test. And I think that this is a big old goose egg on sexy lamp.
But it almost feels more insidious because Dracula's interest in Mina in the novel is so much more about like, well, this is the woman that my boyfriend was going to marry and now I'll go get her too. Like it was a little more queer just at its very nature of Dracula being so into Jonathan, which like who among us doesn't want novel Jonathan?
Yeah, he's our friend. We love him.
We desperately try. And to then have Mina be like, well, this is actually my wife from 1,000,000 years ago when I was defending Christendom. And by the way, now you have to learn about the Middle Ages. Sorry, here at the prologue of this movie. Just, it was all too much. It's just too much.
Excess is really the name of the game with this movie.
Yes, and then long scenes of like not excess. Little empty in between the train stations, not a lot to see from the window of my car.
Yes.
That is very true. But you know what we do see quite a bit of? Beautiful gowns.
Great gowns, beautiful gowns.
Beautiful gowns is our third and final theme for today's episode. Our 2 criteria questions are coming up quickly. But another question we have here on Fear Coded occasionally and bravely must ask is, must a movie be good? The visuals in this movie are lush and beautiful, the costuming is exquisite, and the score is iconic. But can vibes be enough to carry a film through? I think there's such beautiful and extravagant costumes in this movie. I think Dracula's armor that we see at the beginning of the film is truly cinematically iconic. Like, I remember seeing this at a Planet Hollywood when I was a kid. And I know Guillermo del Toro had the helmet on display during one of his like road shows, basically, where he was showing off all of his horror memorabilia. But I didn't care for the helmet. I didn't care for this piece of armor. But it's still, I think, just very famous. And I think costume designer Aiko Ishioka deserves the Oscar that she got.
Yeah. So Merrily mentioned that this was an Oscar-winning film, in that there were things that won Oscars. The film did not pick up even a nom for Best Film. Not writing, not any of the sort of things that you normally think of as the sort of acting and directing Oscars, but sound design, sound mixing, set design, and costume design. And won against some other pretty heavy hitters and pretty well-made nominees. But Iko Ishioka, this is not actually the first thing that they have done costumes for that has been discussed on a Glitterjaw show in the last 2 months. Do you know what else she designed costumes for?
Spider-Man, Turn Off the Dark.
You are not fucking kidding. It is Spider-Man, Turn Off the Dark.
Shut the fuck up. I was totally bullshitting that. That's incredible.
She designed the costumes for Spider-Man, Turn Off the Dark, the infamously cursed Broadway musical about Spider-Man.
That's so insane.
Yeah. So she designed the Green Goblin mask from that play.
Incredible.
But they are her. She does her. Before this, she had gotten an Oscar nom for designing beautiful gowns for Madame Butterfly. But that's like designing a nice gown for the Met. It's beautiful gowns for
Madame Butterfly.
Madame Butterfly. Know. Thank you. But taking this up a notch, giving Dracula this fucking train that goes for, talk about in between train stations. That guy doesn't even need to travel by train. He's just got one everywhere he goes. That's gorgeous. I think even the bland costumes of the suitors are still done up high. They are very impressive. Everyone feels lived in. And then, of course, Lucy's wedding dress, which is just fucking stupid beautiful. And also just flat out capital S stupid.
Yes. Laudatorily stupid.
Yes. But that's the thing. It's the excess. And I think that's another thing, too, that, I don't know, it just bothers me. The excess feels like it's tacked on, like it's a beautiful icing on a cake, and then the cake is just kind of bland. And I don't know. I think if you're trying to tell this story, I think big and extravagant is the way to go. So when you see Lucy's wedding dress, it is the most ostentatious thing you've ever set your eyes upon. And I think that fits, but at the same time, it's the actual, when you actually dig into the movie, it's so empty. It's just, they're shoving so much plot that they're trying to make it seem relevant into your face. It's really constantly going, but it's not really good. It's not a good plot. And so I think even vibes, it doesn't really work for me. I think a vibes-based movie, you can mute it and you would be fine. And I think there's, as David said, there's just these long stretches of emptiness that make it also not work in that sense. So this is just really kind of a total failure of a movie for me.
See, that's fair. I respect it. I think it works personally. The vibes are enough for me. But I totally respect that you wouldn't get it. I think, frankly, this is the perfect movie to have on in the background at your Halloween party. Because you could have people who are tuning in and having a good time watching it, or you could just, or I think you could mute this and be entertained, because I think the visuals are so stunning. But to each their own.
Well, let me be very brave for a second. Is it possible that Francis Ford Coppola is actually not that good of a director?
Baby, you can be brave all day you want. I don't think that's that big of a, I don't know that that's big of an ask.
And in particular, can Francis Ford Coppola direct people who aren't white men? Maybe that's
such a question.
Is the problem that we are facing here. Because when I think about some of the things that have risen to that are the cream of his filmography, I don't think about the tremendous diversity of those films. Not that I would say Bram Stoker's Dracula, woke masterpiece of 1992. But the women are a little underutilized. Keanu Reeves is not directed well, and I think we're going to have a lot to say about Keanu in this, and he deserves, I think, maybe a little bit less of the hate than he received from the time. And this is 1992. This is a pre-Speed Keanu Reeves. We're in a time right now. And I just it made me wonder, do I venerate Francis Ford Coppola because of a couple of his successes, Or do I think, hey, Sarah Michelle Gellar had 3 names. She's excellent. People with 3 names do good work. And I think he's riding
Jennifer
that wave.
Love Hewitt.
Jennifer Love Hewitt. The list goes on and on.
Brendan
the
Prinze
Barbarian.
Jr.?
Rachel Lee Cook. Conan the Barbarian. Is that what you offered me, Tyler? That's fair. I mean, okay. I liked him on Late Night. That was good. Yeah, no, I wonder if maybe he was riding the wave of people with 3 names. And he didn't deserve that as much as he got.
I think that's fair. I think that's all fair.
Well, we asked a bonus question this time, but it is time for us to get to our regular 2 questions. The first of which is it horror? Were you scared watching this? Does Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula belong in a conversation about horror media?
I think Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula is gorgeously composed. And I really appreciate Coppola's insistence on using practical effects as opposed to CGI.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
It's not really a scary movie, though. Like, it's gory, but it's not scary. Like, I think there's a scene in this movie that is reminiscent of a scene in Robert Eggers' Nosferatu that came out, I think, in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And, God, I almost just said 23. Like, it's 23 Skidoo. And that worked really well because I think that movie has substance and style. This movie is really just style. You know?
Yeah.
And so I think, like, it's, again, you put like a really nice icing on a cake, but if the cake is gray and bland, then what is the point here? I cannot be nourished by icing alone.
Yeah. I do think all the shadow work with Dracula actually is, I think that's one of the iconic deliveries on this.
Yeah.
And it's a way to, so the novel does all this stuff where Dracula has like supernatural powers that you can explain in a novel's text because it's the characters describing what he's doing through these epistollaries. But to visualize, you sort of have to have either Bela Lugosi like looking like he hasn't enough fiber or some sort of effect. And this was the choice that was made here. And I think this was actually a really keen choice. I think anytime we've got Drac Shadow going on, it's A++. It truly is a wonderful, wonderful, and a very horror pastiche that comes from this film.
Absolutely.
Totally.
But listen, horror, yada, yada, yada. It's not enough to be scary on Fear Coded podcast. You also have to be queer. So let's discuss this film using the lens of queer theory. Is this a queer horror film?
I hope that we can find some symbolism to draw from because I think that is, our jobs and things.
Mm-hmm.
And the gowns are gay. Like we own that. Like if you're walking around with a 20-foot long red train, that's kind of gay. So Dracula, keeping the gay.
Mm-hmm.
Keanu Reeves has never been this heterosexual in a film, and I mean that derogatorily. And he was in that like surfers solving crimes movie.
Point Break, baby.
Yeah, thank you, Point Break. I could have opened his filmography, and then I thought to myself, I'll remember it when we go to record. And I truly didn't. And I was like, whatever, they were surfers, they solved crimes. And he was still gayer in that movie than we have here, and that's a shame. Of course, his gayest movie was the romantic comedy with Ali Wong, where he is her boyfriend. And
true.
Being Ali Wong's boyfriend is a pretty queer thing to do.
That's so real.
That is extremely true.
Always Be My Maybe. I could remember that one, but not Point Break.
Now that movie I wish we had watched. That's a fun movie.
It's such a stupid movie.
It's so fun. I feel like a case could be made for The Brides. Because I do think that there's queer activity that happens between them that we can see on screen. However, it feels so male gazy. I almost don't even want to count it. And I know that Tyler's about to push back on what I'm about to say here also, because you're right, it is a little male gazy, but Lucy and Mina do kiss in this film, so just throwing that out there.
They do it after they drink from absinthe. And it's just kind of like...
Do they? Because I thought the absinthe scene was later. This was when the rain was happening and they were all like feeling the weird rain pull of lunacy.
I thought it was the absinthe.
I'm not going to lie, until I saw Marilee's note, I didn't even remember this happened.
Either way,
never forget.
The way it's done, it just feels very male gazy. Like it's kind of done to just entice a male viewer into watching more. And it never comes up again. It's never really brought up beforehand. Their friendship seems pretty platonically friendshipy. I think they're gayer in the novel, honestly.
They are.
Oh,
Most things are gayer in the novel.
Most things are gayer
clear.
in the novel, but they are definitely more sapphic in tone in the novel. And in this, Mina's just like, we are really, really, really good friends.
It's 1992. There's some stuff going on in the real world. And I just think that even if you're reading the novel Dracula, written, by the way, by Bram Stoker, I don't know if you knew, even if you're just reading the novel, there's so much about blood in it and what's in your blood and blood going from one person to another person. And it's 1992. So there's this like veil of HIV and AIDS that sort of sits around contemporary reviews of this film. Like, wasn't it brave to release this film while we're dealing with the AIDS crisis? And when I read that contemporary review, I was like, was it brave? No, this was not brave. This is not Philadelphia with Tom Hanks. What the fuck are we doing here? This is fucking Dracula. I'm sorry, Bram Stoker's Dracula. But I do think that, like, if we're a queer podcast, we do need to talk about the things that aren't righteous representation. But in the 90s, queers were at the forefront of fighting HIV and AIDS and the epidemic that we were living through.
You're so right.
Yeah. And I think like the HIV AIDS connection is definitely like a touchstone that's like worth talking about. But I'm concerned about like what is Coppola trying to say about HIV and AIDS? That it's some kind of virulent disease that's passed around by like overly promiscuous people. It just kind of feels like Coppola threw it on a plate and served it to us like the dead bird and What Happened to Baby Jane.
Nice.
It's just like, it feels very underbaked. And the contemporary reviews, I can understand doing that because there's not too many other big time movies that are talking about it. Like David said, it's not Philadelphia or anything, but it is Francis Ford Coppola, who especially at this time had a lot of cash, like cultural cachet in Hollywood. So if he's going to do a movie where there's a focus on blood and it's infectious and it will take over the body and kill you, I think that's something that if I were a writer at the time, I would be like, hooray, Francis Ford Coppola for doing this. But in 2026, I don't think it works. It feels, like I said, it feels very half-baked. It also feels like kind of slut shamey with what happens to like Lucy. Like, she's portrayed as being a very sexual person, and then she dies and becomes an evil creature that's trying to pass on this disease to other people. And by removing the idea that Lucy's an angel in the house, it ends up making her seem worse, like morally by comparison. And that's another thing that's very unfortunate about this film. So I think like that's absolutely something that we can say is like a queer theoretical reading, but queer theoretical readings don't always have to be like, this was done well, this was done poorly. Sometimes it's just like, this is not good.
And art is made in the context of what's happening in the world. I haven't seen that Eggers Nosferatu yet, but I'm gonna be a little bummed if I go into it and it doesn't have a read on the whole idea that this vampire is a foreigner. And that a foreigner would bring a disease in after we had just lived through a global pandemic. If Eggers' film doesn't have a little bit of that in there, then that was a missed opportunity because, when that film was released, we had just lived through a massive infectious disease that ravaged the globe. And artists need to be careful about the art you're making and the time that it comes out.
Yeah, honestly, were it not for Van Helsing's character specifically, because there's a couple points that we're going to get to later, I would say I don't even know that Francis Ford Coppola knows that HIV and AIDS exist because it's so not centered. And then you have Van Helsing throwing real slut-shamey hands.
That's what I'm saying. Anyway, we'll get there. We'll get there. But for now, are we ready to launch into 1992's Francis Ford Coppola presents Bram Stoker's Dracula, a film?
Sorry, I'm just going to giggle every time we do that.
We'll see how much longer we can get this.
Let us talk about Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula.
A film.
A film.
Wow, it would really suck to be hearing an ad right now. If you want to enjoy an ad-free listening experience, you can join the Fear Coded Patreon at patreon.com/fearcodedpodcast. For as little as $1 a month, you get access to early and ad-free episodes on your very own podcast feed. And extra bonus content begins at $3 a month. So consider joining today at patreon.com/fearcodedpodcast. Now, don't worry, we aren't going to start hawking harmful teletherapy programs created by obscene tech bros, but if you would like to skip ads just like this one, you can join the Fear Coded Patreon at patreon.com/fearcodedpodcast and support queer artists for as little as $1 a month. But now, back to the horrors. Well, the movie opens in 1462 with narration provided by Van Helsing, describing the events that would cause Dracula to become a vampire. After the fall of Constantinople, Muslims invaded Europe and into Transylvania, right where Dracula ruled. Dracula leaves to go fight them, this is where he wears the coolest armor that anyone has ever worn, leaving his bride, Elisabetta, behind. Even though his campaign was successful, spies send word to Dracula's castle that he lost before Dracula can return. Elisabetta, in mourning, dies by suicide. Dracula arrives and discovers his love dead. A priest tells Dracula that because of Elisabetta's actions, her soul is damned to hell. Dracula renounces the church and God completely. Taking his sword, he stabs the crucifix, causing it and the carved angel faces on the walls and nearby candles all to bleed. Dracula grabs a communion goblet and, saying the blood is life, drinks the blood gushing from the crucifix before cutting to the title card.
So much just happened right there.
So this is a superhero origin story for Dracula.
Yeah,
That's exactly right.
Or super villain, really.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, this is wicked. Oh my god, this is wicked.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I want to start by saying that Anthony Hopkins is narrating this opening because he is Van Helsing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what other film that Anthony Hopkins has narrated the opening for?
Tell us, David, tell us.
It is the 2000 Ron Howard film, How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Oh my gosh.
Anthony Hopkins has also lent his voice talent to a 2021 television show. He is the narrator for Mythic Quest's special episode Everlight, where they imagine that they are role-playing characters, and they got motherfucking Anthony Hopkins to pick up his telephone during COVID to record some lines that they audio mastered and put in the episode.
That's incredible, and frankly, good for them.
Way better than this performance, mostly because I was like, who cares?
Listen, Anthony Hopkins he's doing a job here, and we're gonna talk about it later. I will just say that he's actually, if you pay attention, the lead priest, the one who gives like that exposition.
I did notice that, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that it's neat that he has also been reincarnated.
Yeah, this is fucking Legend of Zelda. This shit never ends. These are always the same players. You can't get away from each other.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think the visuals in this sequence are cool looking. I think like very technically impressive stuff on display. Beautiful colors. Like I think this would kill like a modern like color coordinator person in a movie.
You think if I made a Gen Alpha watch this, they would just die because it wasn't taupe or whatever?
They would make this into like a new TikTok trend, and then it would be like, oh my god, Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula is actually the best Dracula adaptation ever. No cap.
Barf.
Well, there's just so much happening all the time. Like even where the scene where fucking Dracula is reading the suicide note that Elisabetta left behind, you can see on the note they have superimposed her falling to her death in the river on top of the note for just fun. There's like,
extravagant.
Yeah. There's a lot of extra. I mean, here's the thing though. It also kind of reads as I just learned to do this in film school.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That being said, I loved this jump off the balcony. I was like, she's a queen. Like she's being dramatic. This was a queer hero. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can't have my love. Sploosh. That's great.
That fake ass doll of Winona Ryder that's just slowly falling off of the side.
Yeah, I don't know about that part, but everything else was great.
Yeah. I mean, like, God, but then we get the title card.
Oh
The
my
title card
God.
sucks. The font for this sucks. I mean, it's not the worst movie font, but it's getting close to the worst movie font.
Pretty close.
It's almost papyrus.
Oh my God. It's been 0 days since I thought about the SNL Papyrus sketch.
I forgot about it for years, but then I remembered that Avatar, the giant international blockbuster, used the papyrus font as its logo.
We already talked about Avatar, so, it's on the mind. It's on the mind.
To me, I got the vibe of, like, what if the Lion King title card sucked? And like that was instantly my thinking when I saw that, because the music is like ramping up and then it's like boom and then title card, and it's like
It genuinely almost feels like they ran out of money and this was the last thing they had to do. So they just held on this one still image for far too long. And it's insane because they just spent so much time and effort on all of this other stuff to then just hold on this dumb title card. It was insane.
No.
What a choice.
I have to say, it's a very 90s choice of font as well. Like, I would definitely see, like, a coffee shop with this font, and it was, like, beans a lot, something like that.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Grounds for divorce.
Nice. Well, in 1897 London, at the Carfax Lunatic Asylum, new patient Renfield talks to his master about all the preparations being completed before he eats a fly. Elsewhere, Jonathan Harker, with a very pronounced English accent, takes over the responsibilities of his predecessor, Renfield. But that means that he has to leave right away. Jonathan gives the bad news to his fiancée, Mina, before heading off to Transylvania while promising to write. Eventually, despite wolves and strange blue flames, Jonathan makes his way to Castle Dracula and meets Count Dracula. After they finalize their real estate business, Dracula catches sight of Jonathan's photo of Mina and reacts very strongly, with his shadow even strangling Jonathan, before insisting that he stay an extra month at the castle.
Well, okay, let's start with Renfield and the Carfax Lunatic Asylum?
Oh my God. Listen, I'm not trying to be a pedant, but Carfax District Lunatic Asylum sucks. It sucks, and it's bad, and it's so dumb. Carfax is just the name of the abbey. It's the name of the house. They do that in England. This is not like a district. This is not a location. Why are we just naming things? It's so stupid. It's so dumb that this makes me so angry, but it really does.
Okay, well, Renfield's there. Fine, whatever. He's going to be there eventually. He was there in the book, so yes, this is Bram Stoker's Dracula. Excellent. He is played by Tom Waits, and that apparently is a big deal to many people. But to me, I was just like, this feels like stunt casting, but I don't know why. And it's not... I don't know if the performance isn't good, if the script's not good, or if the direction wasn't good, or porque no les tres. Like, maybe it's just everything.
It's probably just everything. Tom Waits is fine. I think pretty much everybody in this movie is a name. And Tom Waits is a name. I don't know what he's building in there, but it was fun to see him, I guess.
Yeah. He's always shot with weird camera angles. I usually love that. But I was also like, why? But why?
Because he's crazy.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
He's crazy. Yes. He's eating flies. That I couldn't have gotten that out of the fly context. Only the camera can tell me.
Yeah,
I just love that the guards at Carfax Lunatic Asylum wear, like, the big prison boxes on their heads. It's giving
So
Bloodborne,
stupid.
which is just definitely something that we'll have to talk about someday. But it's stupid, but it's also just part of that extravagance, just that over the top. It's vaguely Tim Burton-esque, but too grounded to be Tim Burton. So it's just kind of like, what's happening? What kind of movie is this?
Yeah. I love the idea of one of these background going home and being like, "Hi, honey, how was your day?" And they're like, "Man, they put this fucking box on my head." I had to fucking talk to Tom Waits. Like, this fucking shit.
Yeah. I will say, I do like the fact that they had a continuation from the 1930s Dracula with Renfield as the lawyer for Dracula. I think that's fun. And this is a great way to have both Jonathan and Renfield take that responsibility. I think that's neat. Problem solving.
Speaking of the film, listen, there's some oldies but goldies that come in here. I don't drink ... wine was there. Sure, it was no Bela Lugosi. I don't drink 30-minute pause wine, which is the ideal way to deliver that. But it was enough that I was like, yes, Gary Oldman has seen the original film. I love that. That's good.
But then he says Children of the Night, what music they make, and he says it in the worst way possible because he's trying super hard not to sound like Bela Lugosi.
Oh, are we into complaints? Because also a crucifix gets handed to Keanu Reeves as Harker, and they're just like, here's a crucifix. And I'm flipping tables over here. That is for your mother's sake. And you don't say that, believe it or not, jail. Like, straight to jail.
I do believe it because I co-signed the straight to jail amendment on that. Like, that did also make me irrationally mad.
Straight to jail. If you're going to film that part of it, like, then give me that. But we did get, here's the thing, and to then backtrack and be like, good for you. We have him writing in his journal. That was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's shot so cool when he's
So
doing it.
cool.
Oh my
So
God.
cool.
Like,
So, like, there's this effect of Dracula's eyes on this blood red Transylvanian mountain horizon. And Jonathan is writing this letter on the train, and it just looks so impressive as Dracula's eyes crest over the horizon, and it's just these piercing blue eyes amidst all of this red as Jonathan is reading like the letter that Dracula has sent him, and it's just such a cool shot. I think it's probably my favorite shot in the movie.
yeah.
And again, like practical effects, like I think that's really awesome that they did that.
Yeah. I'm going to try really hard not to constantly be hyping up the visuals of this film because there's a lot of things to say, but I just think, especially in this section, there's a lot of such cool things happening that I love it. I know that this is not a good movie. This is where I'm like, beautiful gowns. Look at the aesthetics are great.
Yeah, Marilee, I'm even with you in that when I was watching this at this point in the movie, I was just like, maybe it's not as bad as I remember.
Me too. I was like, maybe this has got some heat to it.
The heat does die, but you know.
But they're blue flames. So that's another thing is like, okay, the blue flames are there from the novel. That's fun. Okay, let's talk about a couple of the actors because we have Keanu Reeves as Jonathan Harker. We've mentioned it a couple times. And we have Gary Oldman as Dracula.
Yes. This is where I'm going to defend Keanu Reeves, everybody. So
Let's go.
I think he deserves it. So Marilee, come to his defense.
I will. So here's the thing about Keanu Reeves. Should he have been cast in this role? No. God bless him, but he knows it. And you know, I've read a couple interviews with people in who are retrospectively talking about this experience, and all of them say the same thing: is that Keanu Reeves was trying so hard to give a good performance and give like a proper actual accent. And he was trying so hard, it kind of like crossed a threshold into like a little stiff, and he's doing his best and he shouldn't have been in this position. And Gary Oldman is acting circles around him and he's actually not that bad even. So
No.
Keanu Reeves has gotten 30 years of hate for this performance. And I think we all just need to like calm down a little bit.
I agree. And he wasn't the first choice. The first choice was Christian Slater. Christian Slater regrets saying no to this film. I don't know. He might have also faced 30 years of criticism for this. Because I also don't know that Christian Slater had an English accent in his back pocket. I just think that Francis Ford Coppola wanted Shakespearean actors and got them with most of the cast and didn't with the cast who get critiqued a lot. And there does seem to be a unifying factor in that Keanu Reeves is not white, and that Mina, why am I blanking right now?
Winona Ryder.
Winona Ryder is a woman, and a lot of the negative press goes to the folks who maybe aren't the most directed. I've also got to say, assistant director, second unit on this one was Francis Ford Coppola's brother. So I just also don't know that the directing was very strong that was coming out of this for the actors.
That is so interesting because Francis Ford Coppola's son did the practical effects.
Then it was the son. Sorry, I was getting the brother and the son confused. It was his son who did second AD.
Okay. So his son was pretty busy.
Yeah.
I also think that you know, this is before Speed, so it's really before Keanu Reeves really like sets himself up as like, no, I'm a star.
Right, right.
And like, really, if you think about it, the thing that most people are familiar with Keanu Reeves at this point is probably Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Absolutely.
Or John
And
Wick.
John Wick.
In,
little later.
in,
But,
in,
you
90,
know,
in 92, Marilee. In 92.
In 92.
Say it, if the thing he's most known for is, it's still probably The Matrix, but like also that one.
Yeah.
Well,
but
at the time, he was most known for Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure,
Yes.
and you know, he played just kind of like a dude,
Like a loser.
like a himbo,
Yeah.
like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And like, so they're just like, oh, Bill is over here, or Ted, I never know which is which, doing a bodacious British accent, and like, yeah, it's a little unfair. Having said that, it's not a very good accent, I don't think.
It's
But
actually not bad. It's just it's tanked by how stiff the performance is
Sure.
in trying to achieve a perfect accent.
Exactly, yeah. So it ends up coming across as like too false. It's a little bit of a similar situation, I think, with Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. George Lucas just is not like a good director for dialogue, and so you have Liam Neeson, Ewan McGregor, these really incredible actors, and their performances are just meh because the direction's just not there.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, it's really Coppola that we should be, you know, pointing the finger at for poor direction.
And I do.
Yeah.
We
will.
We certainly do.
I
yes.
finger him.
Whoa.
Gary Oldman. I think he's good as Dracula. I think we're getting a lot from him. I think this Dracula in particular, the Dracula we meet here at Castle Dracula with, I don't know how to describe this hair except to call it Dracula hair, is great. And I think the performance is wonderful. I think that he's having a great time and having good fun. I think later we will see a different Gary Oldman Dracula that I like a little bit less. But for now, I'm very happy.
Yeah. Gary Oldman is not necessarily the world's greatest man, but he's a fucking great actor, and he does give a great performance in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's so young. He's so young in this movie.
Everybody is.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true.
That's true. I think Anthony Hopkins is the only one that isn't.
Yeah.
And even then, like, young compared to now.
I looked at Keanu Reeves and I was like, yep. Yeah, you're still there.
Well, he doesn't age.
Yeah.
He is also a vampire, so.
Yeah. All right, so back in London, Mina types her diary entry before being distracted by a book with erotic illustrations. Lucy sweeps in and catches Mina looking before the two talk boy troubles. That night, Lucy introduces Mina to her potential suitors, Quincy Morris, Jack Seward, and Arthur Holmwood. While the four of them chat, Dracula's shadow is cast over the party, particularly on Mina, before the scene transitions. Seward uses a phonograph to discuss Renfield's case before going to talk to him. Eventually, Renfield attacks him. Back at Castle Dracula, things are going bad for Jonathan. Dracula warns him about other dangers in the castle, but Jonathan doesn't listen to him and goes exploring until he discovers the brides. In an erotically charged encounter, the brides all take a bite out of Jonathan before Dracula arrives to stake his claim. And can I say, never has the line, "Stay away from him, he's mine," been delivered more heterosexually.
Yeah. Okay, I want to start with Renfield because I hated it, and that's all I wanted to say. I was like, why are
Me
we
too.
doing this? Why are we doing this?
I hate what they do to my boy Seward.
Mhm.
They
Agreed.
make him a
Genuinely,
fucking
yeah.
dirtbag. They really make him a dirtbag in this, and it pisses me off.
Absolutely.
For what? For what?
For no purpose. It's just to be like, okay, we got to give this guy a character, so let's make him a piece of shit doctor who's just as crazy as the inmates. It's so
Yeah.
cliche.
Truly.
Yeah. And also, what is it trying to tell me? Like, it's nothing. It's telling me nothing. It tells me nothing. Listen, and here's the thing. I do like the asylum. I think it's a really cool set.
Mm-hmm.
If there was a Universal Studios walking tour of this set, I would be in fucking heaven. It's a cool looking set.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you're doing nothing with it. Get out of there. Get out of there.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. I'm kind of wondering now, as we get to this point, what's the whole deal with Lucy and the suitors? Because this is a big scene with a
Yep.
lot of pivots from the novel.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Okay. It's stupid. I do like her. It's not Lucy, but I do like her being like, it's big, I want to touch it. And then it's just his knife. That was fun. I did like that. I am an appreciator of an innuendo. I was into that. That was fine.
Yeah, she was basically asking Quincy Morris, how's your head? And like, that was fun.
Yeah. I even like them looking at the Kama Sutra and being like, I did that last night in my dreams. Like, haha. It's not Lucy, which is my problem. But if I sort of divorce myself of that, which is what I promised I was going to do, I am having fun with this character. This Nega Earth 1 Lucy.
Lusty Lucy.
Yeah, I'm having fun with her. So like, I don't hate it. I hate what then ultimately happens, because the Lucy character needed to be pure in order for her death to be tragic and then like deliver on other things. But for now, I'm having a good time. The suitors are fun enough. Carrie Ellis, what the fuck?
He's so baby here.
What are you doing here?
He's so baby. Why is he here?
Why are you here?
Like, go do something else. You can't be here, you silly goose.
My brother came and we were talking as I was doing the notes for this, and he was like, Carrie Ellis is giving a performance like he's in a Pride and Prejudice film, and like, that's exactly right.
Yeah. The suitors are also in a different movie. I totally agree with that take. And sometimes Lucy is in that movie, and then sometimes she's back in Dracula. Oh, I'm sorry, Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Francis Ford Coppola presents Bram Stoker's Dracula,
the film.
And honestly, like, saying that they belong in a different movie fits so well, because when they walk in, like, I'm watching Lucy because exactly what you said, David. She's very enticing and charismatic, and so she draws everybody in. But they're just kind of like walking in. They're just some normal dudes, and they're flustered by Lucy, and they just kind of are giving like Three Stooges vibes.
Yeah. It's not our heroes of light that they will be later.
Right.
Champions of light, light warriors.
Hero. It's too. I'm just thinking of Final Fantasy now, so it's too difficult to figure out.
And you are the defender of this light nickname, Tyler.
I know, this is going to haunt me now.
I'll fix it in post.
Thank you.
Is this where we got the lizard walking from Dracula?
Yes, he crawled down that wall in lizard fashion for sure.
I liked that. I don't know. My notes say lizard walking worked ? Maybe then at this point in time I was let down by so many things that I was like, this was okay.
I might have looked at my phone during the lizard walking, because I don't remember the lizard walking.
It was very short. It's right after the bauble of man's vanity scene, but before Jonathan goes and finds the brides.
Well then,
okay.
It's time to talk about the brides.
We got to talk about the brides.
Okay, if I recall, because I did not go back and listen to our discussion of the 1931 film, but the vibe was, where are the brides? And this film said, here they are. And I said, take them back. This isn't what I ordered.
No, this is not what I wanted, for sure.
I want fun. I want malice. I don't want this. The only thing I think I liked is when Dracula showed back up and sort of psychically pushed them to the ceiling, maybe. Only because that was like some cool visual effect. That was the only thing I appreciated about all this.
We do some neat things with the effects work here, with a lot of like reverse the film, like rewind. You know, someone's crawling forward in reverse, so it gives like this really creepy animation to their movements, and I think that was used very well here, because it instantly makes the vampires feel like actual monsters, and I think that's great. But it's preceded by like this weird like orgy thing, which like but I feel like the threat of it would have been much more like tolerable, but instead it plays into like Jonathan is just as susceptible to the wiles of these feminine monsters, and it's like, but that's not his character, that's not his whole deal, and and the women end up feeling very like just kind of there to be sexy lamps. We got 3 sexy lamps.
Absolutely. And like, I do think I think there are some cool effects in the scene, particularly as the brides start appearing. Like, Jonathan's on this huge bed, and they just keep popping up through the mattress. And some of that is really well done. Yeah. And then they're all writhing on him half naked, and I check my watch because this is going to go on for way longer than it needs to. Just because they had to grind to a sexy halt here, I guess.
I Okay, and it's Bram Stoker's Dracula. So when Dracula breaks them up, one of the brides is like, how dare you tell us we can't have him because you've never loved before? Except, wait, flag on the play, this Dracula has loved before. It's literally what we spent 10 minutes doing at the beginning of the movie. Why the fuck would you put this line in?
And like Mina's picture is all over the fucking castle. They know about her. So
Yeah.
so what are genuinely what are we doing here?
What are we doing here?
You're telling me one of these brides never saw Dracula like gazing longingly at one of these portraits of Elisabetta and just being like, "Oh, I miss my wife."
Yeah, so either, here's the deal. I guess my criticism is the same as 1931. We either need more and build these out as characters or just get rid of them. Because they're not doing what I want, which is to know who these women are.
Yeah. I just
Yeah.
we have Dracula talking to the brides. This never happens. We have like it's like 30 seconds, but they're talking. It could be anything about how you don't love us because we're not, your one and only, but like you made us.
Great.
Because
yes.
you were lonely can give us something here.
Yeah. And then he goes, no, begone
But
to the ceiling.
have a baby anyway. That's what men do to shut women up, right?
I mean, I do like that, Marilyn. That's a good read. I do like them eating a baby. That's fun. That's fun.
Yeah.
And that's from the novel.
And that's from the book.
Bram
That's from the
Stoker's
book.
novel,
Bram Stoker's
Dracula.
Novel Dracula. This film,
By Bram
I'm gonna
Stoker.
laugh every time.
this film is based on that, I think, Tyler.
Oh, Francis Ford Coppola did Bram Stoker's Dracula?
Yeah, in 1991, the film.
In 1991.
1992. Fuck.
We've said
we've said
3
we've
different
said
years.
so many years for the films. Whatever. You know what else is from the novel? The Demeter, which sets sail with 50 boxes of special dirt and is beset by storm and tragedy the whole time. The strange weather affects London as well, with the lunatics in the asylum going wild, a wolf escaping the zoo, and even Lucy and Mina sharing a kiss. Eventually, the Demeter arrives, and Lucy, in a trance, walks into the hedge maze and has sex with a werewolf in the center. Don't remember that at all.
You don't remember this?
Truly don't. Maybe because I was under Dracula's spell, because Mina sees this and is horrified until the werewolf Dracula commands her not to see him before disappearing. Mina finds Lucy and assures her that she's all right, it's just a dream, even as Lucy tells her that she can taste his blood in her mouth. Later, Mina walks through town stalked by Dracula. He commands her to see him, and she does. Dracula bumps into Mina on accident, but his meet-cute almost doesn't work. She eventually softens and escorts him to the cinema. Okay, the Demeter's arrival is when I lost all sense of what was happening in this film, if I'm being honest, because we were doing some cool camera work, which is cool and fun, but I was like, am I Dracula? Am I a force of evil? Am I the wolf? Who am I? What is happening? What's my POV? I was just lost. And for a film that takes its time with a lot of things, I don't know why I had to be so lost this whole time.
Yeah, things speed up here in a way I think that's not particularly conducive to following the plot.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't know the whole deal with the Demeter and Anthony Hopkins' narration of the pilot of the ship, which I thought was cheap, just hire a guy, come on.
Mm-hmm.
It was very peculiar because at one point I thought the wolf was Dracula because in the novel Dracula can turn into a wolf.
Right.
And that's what's seen leaving the scene of the crime when the ship crashes. And it's just we were trying to do too many things at once. It kind of feels like this is where Coppola and James B. Hart got a hold of the cliff notes for Bram Stoker's Dracula and was just like, well, there's a wolf. We just have a wolf there because there's one in the novel. So let's just. Oh, well, should we make the wolf Dracula so that we can also imply that Dracula can change form very easily? No, we should make this a different wolf. It's very puzzling. It's just unneeded.
There was a wolf that escaped in the novel. It's the wolf that Dracula yeets through Lucy's window.
I always thought that was Dracula, though.
Yeah, that is Dracula.
No, it's not.
Dracula can turn.
There's a whole scene where they have the newspaper guy, who's the same guy who reported on the Demeter crash landing. He goes to the fucking zoo and talks with the zookeeper about the escaped wolf.
Oh,
That is true. I remember that now. I do remember the newspaper guy.
Yeah,
'Cause I was like,
it's such a nothing scene, especially because like this happens before we find out what happened with Lucy. And the important bit is like when the wolf comes back, it's got like broken glass and cuts on it because it was thrown through the fucking window.
well, I do like that. Love is in the air, but then again, so is this ad. If you want to enjoy an ad-free listening experience, you can join the Fear Coded Patreon at patreon.com/fearcodedpodcast. For as little as $1 a month, you get access to early and ad-free episodes on your very own podcast feed, and extra bonus content begins at $3 a month. We aren't canceling the Valentine's Day dance, but if you would like to skip ads just like this one, you can join the Fear Coded Patreon at patreon.com/fearcodedpodcast and support queer artists for as little as $1 a month. But here's my problem, and it is that we get to a different type of Gary Oldman Dracula.
Mhm.
And this one, she's going to a steampunk festival later, and I'm not here for it. This is not the look. I'm sorry, my dear, you are up for elimination. Like, I don't like this. I don't like this Dracula at all. Get out of here.
Okay, see, this is where you and I are gonna gently part ways a little bit, because I fucking love Gary Oldman's stupid sunglasses. I think they're so funny. I love them. I genuinely am obsessed with the stupid sunglasses that Gary Oldman has in this film. I know that
Gary Oldman's stupid sunglasses walked so that the sunglasses worn in Wild Wild West can run.
Wow. I was truly wondering where you were going with this. I thought it might be with Regan sunglasses, but no, you went with Wild Wild West with...
I thought he was going with Marcos's stupid sunglasses.
Oh, they are Marcos's stupid sunglasses.
And Wild Wild West sunglasses ran so that Marcos's sunglasses could sprint, mama.
Oh, no.
I think Steampunk Dracula, so for the uninitiated, you happy souls. So after Dracula finishes having his weird werewolf, giant bat, feral sexual escapade with Lucy, he's just taken a jaunt through London, and it's done through this silent picture filter, which, by the way, does nothing for me because it's just kind of like they try to do like a Lost in Time sort of thing with Dracula. It lasts for about 2 seconds and then it's just totally out the window. I thought it was so stupid. So that totally fails. But Dracula's wearing like a big top hat and these gay little sunglasses and this like velvet coat, and he's just like clearly standing out, and he's got like this long hair and this beautiful mustaches, which is from the book, so kudos to that.
Yeah.
But then it's just he's definitely going to the steampunk convention afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
Like truly he's missing some cogs that do nothing on his hat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And his cane too. He's got a cane.
Yeah.
He's got to walk with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I have nothing to add. You're both right, but I love it. I'm sorry. I'm the problem.
It's just because then it leads into the encounter with Mina.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And Mina has a good 2 seconds where she's
she puts
an
up a
independent
fight.
woman.
It's great. It's great.
It's great.
But here's the deal, Tyler, because I've been waiting for it. I waited all Dractober long, and I didn't get it. I was refused satisfaction. But here, he says, permit me to introduce myself. And thank fucking God, because this is all I knew about Dracula. And it came from this moment. And he doesn't even introduce himself as Dracula. And that is when I was like, motherfucker.
That's how they get you, girl.
How they getcha. Speaking of how they getcha, frankly, the treatment, I know, we all know, the treatment of the people in mental institutions in this time period sucks. We all know this.
Sure.
Seeing those horrors, Seward gets high on morphine just ruins the character, frankly. Just like they have hoses that they're hosing down on people, and he's just in his office high as a kite. We're supposed to like this guy. What are we doing?
Yeah.
They really did Seward dirty. Like, either get rid of one of the suitors and let Seward take over some of that role, or just find a different angle for him. Like, I don't know if this would have worked if the theme of this movie was like everyone is externally repressing themselves, and then internally they have some sort of like lustful monster within. And that could have worked with Seward then being high on fucking morphine in his sanatorium of bad vibes. But it's just not there. The movie doesn't tell that story. Instead, it's telling a love story, and everyone is externally sexual. There is no repression. Everyone is telling you how they feel. And that pisses me off because it just makes bad writing. It's a bad movie.
Yeah.
Ugh. There's no interiority for anyone in this film.
Except for Dracula.
That's true.
Except for
Dracula is getting this additional characterization that I don't actually need, because I think we talked about this when we talked about the novel, maybe not so much the Lugosi film, but the story of Dracula is a story that is not really about Dracula.
No, it's people encountering Dracula and being like, "Oh fuck, that's a vampire!
Right,
you got to deal with this."
Yeah, so
and
he should be flat. He should be he should be the tree that you cast the kid who can't act as. This is not a person I need a deep dive into.
Because when you do, you have to just create some bullshit to make him sympathetic.
Yeah.
Boo to this movie. Boo. So Seward stops by to check in on Lucy. She can feel herself changing, and it scares her. Plus, she keeps dreaming of these eyes. When Quincy and Homewood arrive, Seward confesses he can't figure out what's going on, but he's written to his mentor, Van Helsing, for help. At the movies, Dracula almost bites Mina before stopping himself. The escape wolf arrives and scares everyone else away, but Dracula takes control of it, and the two pet it together. In Amsterdam, Van Helsing gives a lecture on vampire bats, blood, and venereal disease when Seward's telegram arrives. At Castle Dracula, Jonathan was left to the brides. They're keeping him as their plaything, but he swears he will make one last attempt to escape before he's too weak. He does, and barely manages to escape with his life.
All right, I guess, where do you want to start? You want to start with the top of this and the C word of it all?
I have nothing else to say. He's kind of dead to me, frankly.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Let's just jump into Dracula at the movies.
Great. Dracula at the movies. Dracula at the movies.
The cinematograph.
Yeah.
Yeah. A, super fun. B, they have like a whole thing here with Mina as like, she's not like other girls. She likes real science instead of the popular stuff. And it's like so pick me. It's honestly kind of funny and adorable.
Yeah, this felt just like a 90s sensibility thing more than anything else. I just think that you sort of had to do this to any female character in the 90s to be like, see, we've written a complicated woman.
Yeah, it was very Belle from Beauty and the Beast.
It was very Belle. Oh, Monsieur Gaston.
And like, again, on the record, I don't like the romance with Dracula. I do think Dracula stopping himself from biting Mina works like gangbusters. Like, that kind of rules.
Yeah, then they just follow it by petting a wolf later, and I was like, what are we doing here? Why are we petting this dire wolf? Like, what is happening?
Such a question. Such an honest question. Such a truthful question.
Just things you do.
No, no, get out of here. Get this wolf out of here.
At the cinematograph, you just pet wolves.
Just petting the wolf. I get that it was for him to show that he had this power, but like, to what end? Like, I just like, it's for nothing. It's for nothing.
It's like trying to make us buy into the idea that Mina could fall in love with Dracula as like a normal situation, as opposed to like, oh, you're the reincarnated, my love. You know, it's stupid. It is to what end? You know, it does serve no purpose, because we're just going to skip all that and just jump straight ahead to, well, you can't help yourself. You're in love with me because our love never dies.
I do like your read, though, that this is like the beast giving Belle the library. Be like, look, I can help you pet a wolf. Don't you love me?
That's exactly right. And truly, every little girl wants to pet a wolf. We all know this.
Well, okay. I mean, if a man was like, I will let you pet the fluffiest thing that I've ever seen in my entire life, it would increase my affection rating for that man. Like,
It's true.
I'm not made of stone.
Yeah. Listen, not to call in another Anthony Hopkins reference here, but it very much did feel a little bit of like Red Dragon with like when they pet the tiger.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I love a cat. And the bigger the cat is, the more I'm going to like it. I like dogs. The bigger the dog is, the more I'm going to like it.
Yeah.
And
That is true.
the wolf is big, and I want to hug it and not have it eat me. And that's inside of me. But I would not. I
Way too much time in the movie was devoted to this.
Yes, and to date a man into steampunk, I'm gonna need a little bit more than a wolf. Like, it's too much. It's too much commitment.
Right.
I better not tell you about the time that I had a steampunk themed birthday party in my early 20s.
Well, in your early 20s and when the year was for that, I have a lot more permission given to you for that.
Okay, good. I'm allowed some
There was an era. I think being steampunk today or being steampunk in 1992 sits a lot differently than being steampunk in the early to mid 2000s.
I guess that's fair.
Very true.
Yeah.
Well, we just mentioned Anthony Hopkins. Can we talk about this Anthony Hopkins scene?
Here he
Must
is.
we?
He is okay to good in this film.
I'd say that's a very, very, very accurate summation of his performance.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have seen him in better. You know what he needs? Jodie Foster. Jodie Foster, come into this movie. You could save this movie.
Jodie Foster, come on the pod anyway. You're always welcome. Like, baby girl, we love you. I feel like Anthony Hopkins does need a good director because sometimes he's just there for the paycheck. And like there are some genuinely hilarious things that Van Helsing is going to say soon. But like I don't know that it's supposed to be funny.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
this introduction to him is clunky.
Oh, it's bad. It's bad. And like what a choice to link venereal diseases with blood and vampire bats in such a way. What a choice. A bad choice.
And I mean, that's where we start to get into the HIV AIDS of it all.
Right.
Yeah.
And to me, like this is where it starts off because we have this weird connection between venereal diseases and vampire bats and blood, and then we're gonna start getting some shots of blood cells under a microscope, so really emphasizing the scientific method of it all in the face of fantasy. Which like we get some of that in the novel. Like that's the whole deal is like modern day versus the ancient past.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that would be cool, except that this is where you start to try and find the theme of, is this an expression of the anxiety around HIV AIDS at the time? And frankly, I just think it doesn't work. Like sex and lust are very enticing in this movie, but dangerous. Extremely dangerous, life or death dangerous. And that to me feels very exploitative and tasteless about sex.
Yeah.
Like the movie really seems like it's very sex positive and sex forward, but it seems like sex is the gateway to sin and becoming a vampire, which is bad. You shouldn't become a vampire. And so like this is a very middle schooler's idea about sex.
See,
Like this,
I wouldn't say this movie is sex positive. I think it's frankly the opposite.
that's what I'm saying though. I don't think it seems like it's sex positive on the surface, but like it's not. It's truly not.
No, it really it's very 1980s purity culture about it, you know? Like Michael Myers is going to kill you for having sex is the vibe here.
Yep. You will get chlamydia and die.
Yes.
Yep. You will become a vampire and die and then come back.
Yeah.
And kill more people, which is, you know, the worst part.
And
Kill children.
And again, at this point in time, it's just a sheet on a giant pile. But like, this telegram could have been delivered to Van Helsing in a hallway, in an office, anywhere else. This is not. Is this? Oh, a telegram. I must read it in front of this class. I will leave immediately for London.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
The drama.
It's so unnecessarily and it's so unnecessary, and it adds to a bad feeling around Van Helsing that is gonna become so much worse in the next set of scenes. Are we ready to move on to those?
Bring it on.
Yes.
Bring it on.
All right, so Van Helsing arrives to witness the end of an attack by Dracula on Lucy and insists on immediate transfusions. Dracula and Mina continue to go on dates, and Mina seems to be remembering her past life somewhat. And this is the absinthe scene. When she gets a letter telling her that Jonathan is sick and asking her to go to Transylvania immediately. Mina swears Jonathan will never know about her emotional affair with her prince and rips out the diary entries that describe their time together. Lucy's condition worsens, and Van Helsing finds fangs growing in her mouth, which makes him very excited because he finally knows what's happening to her. That night, Dracula attacks again and kills Lucy. After the funeral, Van Helsing and the suitors go to Lucy's crypt and discover she really has become a vampire before killing her.
I would like to start with the transfusions, and
Okay.
I just want to say, where were the transfusions? This is like such an important part of all of this that is like critically important for understanding who these men are and who Lucy is and how they become the triumvirate of light. And they're all just like standing by a fountain being like, God, some transfusions, huh? How about a smoke? Like I was sent. I was like, what is happening here?
It's just, it's like, these guys who wrote this thing did not understand the fucking point of the novel.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, because the transfusions are a big deal.
Yeah. And
And-
like the whole thing of like Arthur feels like they're married and they have the whole polycule moment because all of their blood is in her.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no,
Which would have been queer as fuck, but instead it's like, we're uncomfortable with men showing sensitivity. How about instead we have them make light of the transfusions and then go have a cigarette?
yeah.
Yeah. I was, ugh.
I mean,
And then Van Helsing does some magic.
yeah, don't worry about that. I will say that them sharing a cigarette after they gave blood is a little sexy, you know? That's a sex-coded thing.
Well, that's just because cigars and cigarettes are hot.
yes.
Bad for you. Don't do them. Don't smoke them.
but
Don't
it-
do anything like that.
But if you do, photograph yourself. 'Cause you
You
look
have
great.
to at least have the benefit of it. But like, you know, that's the thing. It's
And
the
then take a
post-coital
shower.
cigarette.
Tyler says take a shower. I say, come on, come to bed.
You know,
It really depends on the brand.
yeah.
again, you're supposed to do this after the sex, David.
Well, then I'm like, here's your cab. Money's on the nightstand, sailor. I don't know what's happening right now.
Lucy should have been the one to do that, honestly.
Yes.
I would have liked the movie more if Lucy was just like, woo, I am full up. Why don't you take the money on the couch, darling?
Genuinely,
I don't know why she turned into a Southern Belle.
I don't know what's happening with accents.
This movie.
Let's talk about Dracula and Mina on these dates.
Boo.
I don't understand.
I just hate it. I hate it.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. I don't know what to tell you.
Mina's whole agency is slowly and then very quickly being robbed from her over the course of these dates.
And I loved hearing Marilee say that Mina is remembering her past life because that actually is fun for that story. I didn't get that at all from watching this. I was
There's
just like
the whole scene where she describes exactly what the mountain is, and Dracula's like, yes, that's exactly right. You described my home, and then they talk about the princess, and you see it's a whole fucking thing.
Oh yeah, I picked up none of that. I probably picked up my telephone is what I picked up during those scenes.
Yeah, that's fair. Nothing was lost.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is the problem?
It's really, yeah, that's the problem. But the whole deal is like Dracula is like, obviously he's a bad guy, and you know, I think it's interesting when a good person falls for a bad guy.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's just that this is done poorly, because when you fall for a bad guy and it's done really well, there's some degree of agency. Like, hate it, love it or hate it, like Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, terrible movie, but at least there is some like push and pull with Rey and Kylo Ren where it's like we have the connection, but Rey is really pushing against it, but Kylo wants it, and Rey eventually like succumbs to it, but she's like really like in control this whole time.
Yeah.
Like she's the one who kisses Kylo. It's not the other way around at the end of the movie. Spoilers for a bad movie, by the way. But like in this movie, we don't have that. Instead, it's Mina just being like, I am remembering these things, and it's because I'm not Mina, I'm Elisabetta. My soul is someone else's. And it just totally robs her of character and agency. And then by the end, when Jonathan's letter gets to her and she rips the pages out of the diary, ooh, that made me so mad, because she says Jonathan can never know about this, which is so wrong, like morally wrong of her to keep that kind of secret. Mina in the book would never do such a thing.
Never.
And like the Mina that we've seen for most of the movie probably wouldn't do such a thing either. And then ripping the diary pages out that describe their time together, that would never happen in the book. Like keeping a chronology and a written record of what the fuck has happened helps the Crew of Light. I remember their name.
The Crew of Light. Yes.
Defeat Dracula. So removing these diary entries is making her weaker against like the forces of Dracula. It's making everyone weaker against the forces of Dracula. And hey, that would be like a neat twist in a better movie. But in this, it's just like the character is just portraying what we have known about her this whole time. And I end up really not liking it. I don't buy it. And I think it just kind of sucks. So like this movie is called Bram Stoker's Dracula, and it's purported to be the most accurate adaptation of Dracula, the novel. And so when you do things like this, I think it's worth criticizing because you're not doing what you said you would do. You're not paying homage to the novel. You're not showing loyalty or adoration to the novel, respect to the novel, honor to the novel. You're just saying like, well, I'm going to take the bones and I'm going to make them into my own thing, even if it doesn't make sense. And I hate that.
Yeah.
And Coppola, I hope your winery has a down year.
Wow. That white person burn brought to you by our own Tyler.
I love a touch of that. Thank you.
I found out that they fucking like went to his winery for like 2 months to like all get to know each other and hang out and socialize. It's just like, damn, what a life.
What a life.
Must be nice. Must be very nice. I will say, I agree with everything Tyler just said, but I would like to add the fact that later in the diary entry monologues, Mina still makes reference to her prince. So like, her fundamentally betraying the text doesn't even fucking matter because it's still in there. So like, what was the fucking point?
Jonathan's gonna read that and just be like, who is the prince that my wife is talking about?
Let's visit an oasis, and that oasis is Vampire Lucy.
Vampire Lucy.
Yes. I will drink from her to torture the metaphor. This is wonderful. I loved this whole thing. I liked the funeral. I loved her funeral outfit, which either was her wedding dress or that she has a second bizarre white dress. And you know what? I'm here for all of it. It's great.
No, that's her wedding dress. They bury her in her
good.
wedding dress, and it's fucking iconic.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
That hat.
Yeah, and when she gets beheaded, the beheading is amazing. I love this whole thing.
It's so good. It's genuinely phenomenal. And then this is where Van Helsing, Autistic King, just goes so fucking crazy. And like he calls Lucy a willing concubine of the devil and like really slut-shamey bullshit. As well as the Anthony Hopkins, how much were you paid for the day where you were like, yeah, get your beheading tools, it'll be fine. Right during the funeral. Insane behavior.
That did make me laugh, though.
Made me laugh
just like,
really
oh yeah, and now,
yeah,
we're gonna stab her in the heart and then cut off her head.
Yeah.
That's all we're gonna do.
Yeah. Was this one of the points? Is they're like, will this hurt? And he's like, yes, it will hurt. We're gonna stab her through the chest.
Yeah,
and behead her. It's not gonna be pleasant. Well, speaking of Van Helsing meets with the Harkers and catches them up on what's been going on. While all the men descend on Carfax Abbey, Seward brings Mina to the asylum. In a moment of sanity, Renfield tells Mina that Dracula is coming and that she needs to flee, but they don't heed his warnings. That night, Dracula comes to Mina. She welcomes his touch until she realizes he killed Lucy, but Mina still loves him. She asks to be turned, and, despite his misgivings, Dracula does. Van Helsing and everyone interrupt the moment, and Dracula turns into a bunch of rats to flee.
That did look cool.
That did look cool. That was cool. Van Helsing hypnotizes Mina to discover where Dracula is hiding and realizes he must be going home. They follow and have a showdown at Dracula's castle, killing the brides and wounding Dracula fatally. But Mina refuses to let anyone finish him off, instead bringing him to the chapel where the story began. There, her love heals Dracula, and the crucifix, allowing him to reconcile with God and die human, free from his curse. The end.
Boo, hiss, tomato, tomato, tomato.
Yeah, this is so fucking weird.
Oh my god. Listen. Oh my god. The ending, sure. You know what? It makes a certain kind of sense. For this particular movie.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. If you are a fan of Mina from the book, brother, this stinks.
Yeah, no, this is rough. And I even think, like, I don't think about Dracula as somebody that I want to redeem. Like, it's more fun when he's sort of evil.
Yeah.
And I don't need him at the end to be like, oh, the light of God, I'm healed, thank you. The healing, I was like...
Yeah, like, when we see the crucifix, like, suddenly magic itself together, what the fuck?
And God is just like, I know you killed a whole bunch of people for like 1,000 years. Having said that, though, you did reconnect with the love of your life who died by suicide, so I sent her to hell, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah,
okay.
no,
You're
reincarnation's
redeemed.
real, so don't worry
Go
about
with
it.
me.
It's all okay.
Go with me to love and serve me.
Just, nightmare, this whole thing.
But listen,
Terrible.
guys, don't worry about it. We are now in a perfect record of keeping the bad Dracula ending tradition alive.
That's true.
Always, it's a bad ending.
That's true. Because what the 31 film is just sort of is like, we're out of film. End the movie.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Bless.
Anyway, this is Wig Watch. I'm so genuinely in love with the stupid wigs they put on Keanu Reeves to show his hair gradually turning white in this section. It's so dumb,
good.
but I love it.
But I was like, I hate to keep going to this well, but like, to what end? Like, I don't care.
But that's what happens in the novel, and as we know, this movie must be slavishly devoted to the novel.
That's right. This is a 1-to-1 adaptation of Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah, so don't worry about them going around the Horn of fucking Africa. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. But you know what? We did it. We did it.
We did it, gang.
We did it. No more Dracula.
We survived. So how do we feel about the film Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula in terms of horror or queerness after our conversation? And do you have any other final thoughts for this episode?
I don't know that I found additional queerness in our conversation. I do think that there are some horror moments in it. The rats were good. Some of the camera angles, shadow work was good. There was some iconography that I think is very important. I think that Dracula's hair becomes very important for a Treehouse of Horror later on The Simpsons. And otherwise, I think I have seen this, and that's it. That's all. That's the end of the sentence. I have seen this.
She's very pretty. She's a very pretty girl. Not a lot going on up there, but she's very pretty.
Yeah, which is okay.
Such wonderful gowns.
Beautiful gowns. Beautiful gowns.
Well, for me, I say stick this one back in its box and send it out to sea, Captain.
Yeah. And maybe
Not
one
another
day...
box of dirt.
Oh my god,
A
box of
special dirt.
That's what we need. What I need is a 6-season television series that's just the Crew of Light finding one box a week in a Monster of the Week situation across London. That's what
genuinely
I
I would love that show, and you know that, David. You know that.
I do. Yeah.
Dave, I think you're requesting like the patrolling scenes from Buffy, just connected one after another.
Yeah, we're looking for a box, and then a woman's like, "Please help! My dog is also a werewolf," and you like have to go figure out that situation. Then you get back to the box. It's fine.
Well, thank you all so much for listening to this episode. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to contact us, you don't have to cross through oceans of time. You can just follow us on Instagram and Blue Sky at FearCodedPod.
And if you would like to support the podcast, you can join the Bats in Our Belfry and subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/fearcodedpodcast. You can show your appreciation at one of 3 levels. Early and ad-free episodes are available as low as $1 a month, and accompanying bonus content starts at the $3 level. This month, because we're talking about love in the air, why not talk about a baby in a refrigerator suspended in the air? Because we are talking about the Kojima now lost project PT and all of the horrifying visuals that went into it.
Fear Coded is a proud part of the Glitterjaw Queer Podcast Collective. If you'd like to listen to more queer media podcasts, check out the full roster of shows at glitterjaw.com.
And you know, one of the things that you can get if you are a member of our Patreon is the ability to vote on upcoming episodes. And next time, we will be ending Valloween with the winner of our first Patron's Choice vote. So go to the store and get the right type of typewriter paper, because we are talking about the love between a woman and her favorite series of books with the film Misery. But for now, we will simply say goodbye.
Bye.
Well, I hope that I don't fall in love with you. 'Cause falling in love just makes me blue.
If there was a universal stools,
Hard for me to see. I had a beer and now I hear you calling out for me.
Dracula bops. Bop, 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 bop.
And I hope that I don't fall in love with you.
And if you want to support the podcast, you can join the Bats in Our Belfry and subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com.
And I wonder, should I offer you a chair? Well, if you sit down with this old clown, I'll take that frown and break it before the evening's gone away. I think that we can make it. And I hope that I don't fall in